the more courage I developed and being active and being a standout and showing that I had skills to survive and threaten and put fear in people too, that became addictive. You know what I'm saying? And so by the time I reached the 9th grade of Markham, I got kicked out of school for so many fights. You know what I'm saying? Involved with just, trying to get a weapon and running with certain guys, you know what I'm saying, who was involved. So I ended up getting kicked out of Markham and graduated from Gompers High School. Just as the old tradition, like our older homies used to go back up to the junior high schools and fight those older guys on the tracks right here, I kind of like, when I got to the 10th grade, I kind of like mimicked that. Eventually, you know what I'm saying, I had to wake up because when I looked up in the first year of high school, my credits was so low, they was threatening to hold me back. So I became, more interested in staying in school. So I kind of like, instead of hanging with bad guys, I hung with bad guys, but these bad guys I hung with, we all bonded together because we wanted to graduate from high school. I kind of distanced myself from being involved with the activities, drug slinging and all that stuff. I still did it on the minimum because you still had to eat, but participating in gang activities. Because, participating in activities is what, have had the majority of my peers going to YA. I didn't go to YA. You know what I'm saying? Going to the county jail, getting all these prison sentences, not learning how to read and write. You know what I'm saying? Getting caught up in that culture. I wanted to beat the odds. I wanted to show them that, no, y'all got me fucked up. I'm gonna graduate. And I graduated. Without my mother living with us, without my daddy involved, surrounded in an environment of killers, drug slingers, prostitutions, and chaos. Right in there, I did it. And not only did I do it, I helped influence my peers that was around me to do it too. We was baptized inside of an environment of survival. You know what I'm saying? And that had engulfed the whole entire neighborhood. When you have a total environment like that, and you trying to survive, and they got these statistics that black males ain't gonna reach the age of 20. You know what I'm saying? Which was real statistics. Yeah. It was survival mode. My mother politely moved away and allowed us to groom and develop ourselves, allow us to understand what life was about, and we learned hard.
So after high school, you graduate, 18, 19 years old. What's Daude thinking about?
Thinking about going to college. Thinking about going to college with a 3rd grade education. Joining high school didn't prepare us for the 2nd stage. Watts was 100% blacks. 100% of ignorant blacks. Crack cocaine era, gang going on, unemployment skyrocket high, dropouts. This is the environment that we was living in. This is talking about hundreds of thousands of people. Everybody faced with the same dilemmas.
So this is like 1985 when you graduated?
This is, I graduated 86.
86?
86. Midway through the crack era. Crack dropped off in 83. The federal government was aware because the federal government was involved, you know what I'm saying, with helping manufacture the behavior that a lot of us was portraying through movies. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The exposure of black exploitation movies, the Mac, the Players, the Hustlers, the gangster movies. These are where these images come from. These images and behavior patterns that we learned was socially engineered and manufactured behaviors because it benefited the local government. It benefited law enforcement. It benefited probation. It benefited prisons. It benefited the graveyard. It benefited the donors of base. It benefited medical facilities. It benefited federal subsidies. All this stuff we didn't create. We living in poverty. We have no control over these things. But these are billion-dollar industries that was fashioned and created out of ignorance and a social engineered behavior that was created by them. We was kids. All our leaders was murdered. Martin was murdered. Malcolm was murdered. The Nation of Islam was infiltrated. The Black Panthers was infiltrated. The US was infiltrated. You know, we was a totally defeated people. And so I didn't get a full education. like I should have had got, you know what I'm saying? But I survived. And when I survived, you know what I'm saying, hey, I tried to apply that to the next level and I couldn't compete. I dropped out, you know what I'm saying? And when I dropped out, you know, it was about survival. So I had to pick back up the sack again. You know what I'm saying? I had to pick back up the drug sack because that was the only way a lot of the so-called people in my peer age group at the time knew how to make money, the sack. Because, you know, it wasn't no more aerospace jobs, no more construction jobs, and no more jobs at McDonald's. It was only so many of them, but the rest of us had to pick up that sack. I come from a big family, and I had got a lot of advice from mama whooping my ass to daddy never giving us nothing but giving us hard facts about life and the importance of a dollar, to my sister and them, to my brother and them who stood up against all odds. So not having that influence make you a leader. And so I always thought about what I was gonna do in situations. In the life of crime, there's a 50-50 chance. A 50% you succeed and a 50% chance you fail. So in 1988, something miraculous happened. In 1988, a girl that I was dating from high school ended up getting pregnant. And through that pregnancy, I saw myself again. I saw a child who I was getting ready to bring in the world. You know what I'm saying? As a child, I blamed my mama and my daddy because they brought us in this world and they didn't do what they supposed to have done for us. And I didn't understand. So I felt that by me bringing in a child, I would have looked like a hypocrite as a father if I didn't do what was right for my son. So in 1988, I decided to let go of the criminal industry and grab hold to myself, grab hold of God, find out who I was, who my family was. And that's when my journey began. I moved from Watts to San Diego, where my girl was attending San Diego State University. She was a college student, got accepted, graduated from Jordan, and ended up going to San Diego State University. And I left the dress code alone, because there was a certain dress code, there was a certain car you drive, a certain hairstyle you have to identify you with the culture. So what I did when I moved, I left my 6'9" Impala, I left my 73 Regal with the blue Phantom, with the white pearl, with the laces. I left my khakis, I left my Pendleton, I left my guns, my bullets, I left my sack, all in Southern California, and I migrated to San Diego. I got a job working at a cleaners. I got another job doing janitorial work at San Diego State University. I stayed there for a year until my son was about ready to born. My girlfriend ended up dropping out of school. We ended up coming back to Watts. She grew up on Grape Street. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the projects. Her mother and father was immigrants from Guadalajara. Her parents had prejudice against blacks. She ended up getting pregnant by me, so they have to accept that, breaking the barriers. You know what I'm saying? And from that, her dad had property on 116th in Vermont, right on the track, sit right on the tracks. And he allowed her to stay in there, and me and her stayed there. At this time, I was going through a revolution within myself, changing, trying to find out who I was. And so I went back to my roots. My mother and father, my grandmama. My mother and father was the Nation of Islam. So at that time in the 80s, Farrakhan was coming back out. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of tended to his message and information. Akila at the time was going to Cal State Northridge, and who was the president of the BSU. We created a movement, and we created a vision that we was gonna create a peace treaty between the Crips and Bloods, started off in the city of Watts, and we figured once we did that, because of the historical foundation of Watts and black folks, that we would create a domino effect around the city and around the nation and around the world, and that everybody would be seeking us out. That was our vision. And we called ourselves the Third Dynasty Egyptian Kings and Queens. And we partnered with the Nation of Islam. So we had conflict and shit with the police because they didn't understand this new movement. All they knew was gangs. They knew of the Black Power movement because of the 60s, but a resurgence of it in the late 80s was a shocking to them. We trained with the Nation of Islam. We trained with Big Shaheed in the garage in Carson. We opened up Mosque 54. We would go to all the BSUs up on the USC, UCLA, and we would organize. And we would get these people to come back to Watts, and we would march through all the housing projects preaching this chant about Black Revolution until we met Jim Brown. We met Jim Brown in 1989 when Farrakhan came to town to stop the killing tours. We participated in that. We took thousands of brothers, hundreds of brothers from our neighborhood to the Coliseum. And that's how we was introduced to Mr. Jim Brown at that time, who had a program that was called Vital Issues. It wasn't American. We created American. We set our stuff aside and partnered with Jim, and we created American. And we started having general meetings. And we was inviting and organizing the different cliques and hoods to come up there to these general meetings. And our plan was to take this curriculum at that time and bring it from the prisons to the streets. We got that program in the streets. We created this thing. I was the chief of staff. T. Rogers from the Jungles was the national spokesperson. Akila was the director of education. Twilight Bay, Juan Longino, and all our people supported cats from our neighborhoods. Frank and Playmate and Chopper and, the Jordan Downs in the Jungles carried the American. American, that name came from Dionne Warwick, because Jim was asking her what's a good name to start an organization or corporation around. Well, she said American. And so Jim was like, when he brought that to us, we was revolutionary. We was like, fight the power, fuck that, public enemy, you know what I'm saying? And American, we told Jim, we ain't no motherfucking American. We told Jim, man, we don't be on call no goddamn American, well, fuck America, because we was revolutionaries, you know what I'm saying? We was Black Panther, powered out the game, you know what I'm saying? And Jim was like, shit, and if you ain't a goddamn American, then take off them goddamn clothes. Jim said, what I'm gonna do is show y'all America is the most beautiful country as ever. And I can show you how to get your tax dollars to come back around and benefit you. He said, everybody else is using your tax money and we're not sophisticated enough to utilize our own services. So Jim took us and educated us like a sensei and showed us the politics behind the politics. You know what I'm saying? And accompanying that with our position and our leadership and everything else we was already a part of, opened our minds to a whole new reality of those what you may be called poverty pimps, manipulators who manipulate the poverty, who manipulate the poor for their own social benefit. He showed us the inside and out in reference to that. Just imagine if we were still being caught up in the revolutionary stuff and we became more agitated and agitated it. And we didn't understand that this country we was living in was ours and was a corporation that was based upon our tax dollars. With the person that I am, agitated and more false doctrine, I probably would try to blow up some shit. That's how mad I was. And that anger from gangs and childhood channel into that direction radicalized a person. And we was on that trajectory. Jim came in and showed us the truth.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description, and thanks for watching StreetTV.net.